Hey, Shalom, Shalom, brothers. It's Brother Kamal Mahar here, back at it again. First thing first, we give our praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, qadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders learning truth from GMS. Blessings to the Akim there preaching his word with whole heart to sincerity. Blessed 144,000, 1/3 entirely. The first fruits, kingdom of heaven, house of David, the Biaf Dawadah. Shalom to you brothers out there speaking different tongues and looking different nations. Shalom to you brothers. So today, brothers, I got a little treat for my video on this one. One of my favorite topics in the scriptures, man, is spiritual power in the kingdom of heaven. But in this case scenario, I'm going to speak on how the Lord is going to use his men, Lord willing I could be a part of that number, and you sincere brothers as well, where the Lord is going to use his men, you know, as battle axes and weapons of war, right? He's going to give his brothers spiritual power, and they're going to be able to wreck shop. You know, even on Jacob's trouble side as well, in the terrestrial bodies. But ultimately in the kingdom, we get those new bodies where the power is going to be, you know, manifested in a more glorified and more larger way. But even though on this side, you know, when Jacob's trouble come, you know, the Lord said he's going to lift up a standard. And that standard goes into many different names in the blue letter. You got, matter of fact, I'll just bring it out. Let me bring out Isaiah 59:19. And this is this particular part of this of the scriptures, brothers. I will, you know, it's not even just personally. Well, yeah, it's personally, but hey, this is the part of the scriptures where your faith and your belief really got to kick in, because you will literally want to be a part of these brothers, man. Because what's going to happen is Esau's going to come in like a flood. And that's self-explanatory. Not Jeremiah, Isaiah. Esau going to come in like a flood, man. And when Esau do, Esau going to come in, you know, like a madman sparing none, which I'm going to get that as well. It's Isaiah 59:19. It says, so shall they fear the, let me see, okay, so start at 18. According to their deeds, accordingly he will repay fury to his adversaries, recompense to his enemies, and to the islanders he will repay recompense. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against them. You see that? And that standard, when you go into the blue letter, I bring this out from time to time, but it's also very important to understand, because we're coming into a time where spiritual power has come back on the scene in a big way. And the Lord is going to give his men spiritual power in order to defend themselves and also continue his work. You know, brothers going to be healing. Brothers going to be, you know, doing mighty works, whatever, healing the blind. 59:19. Now, when you go to right here, when you go to the interlinear, when you go to the word standard, I brought this up before, but this video is on the Lord using his men. Standard goes into flee, which is going to be able to do escape, to take flight, to depart, disappear, to fly to the attack on horseback. You can also look at that as attacking in general. To drive at, you know, like pursue, or ram or go after, to take flight, to put to flight, to drive hastily, to cause to disappear and hide. These are all terms from the H5127 noose. And those are, so when the Lord lift up a standard, what's going to happen is Esau is going to come in like a flood against the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Seminole Indians. And they're going to come in and try to really exterminate brothers, man. But the Lord said he's not letting them touch his prophets. It's not going down like that, because you can go to Jacob's trouble, Jeremiah 30:7, Daniel 12:1. But I actually wanted to go into 2nd Esdras 16 and 70, starting at 70. It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. You see what I'm saying? So there's going to be a great insurrection upon those who fear the Lord. And let's look up the word insurrection. Right. It says a violent uprising against an authority or government. See that? A rebellion, revolt, but a violent uprising against authority and government. Shoot, when through the spirit, who's the government? Who's the new governing body? The Israelites. But it says 16 and 70. It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them from out their houses. Then shall they be known who are my children, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Right? Hear, O my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. But ye not afraid, neither be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for Yahawah is your guide. You see that? So going back to Isaiah 59 and 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. You see that? So the Lord is going to lift up a standard, and brothers are going to be endowed with spiritual power to be able to defend themselves. And when these brothers, man, Lord willing, could be a part of that, man. Hey, when these brothers get the abilities to fight back, it's going to be something real crazy. Because you got to remember, when Yahawashi was on the scene and he had spiritual power, his mission and his goal was to heal, teach, and bring the apostles together to form a little army so they can spread out, and because apostles means sent away, in order to bring in the sheep and bid to the marriage, right? But it's going to come a time where spiritual power is going to come back in a big way, similar to Samson or what you would call David, right? Those two are really good indications. Oh, and David's mighty men on an offensive perspective. See, Yahawashi was more humble, meek, and on a defensive side, meaning just not really violent, wasn't really trying to, do too much because he was considered a fisher. So it's going to come a time where right now we're in Yahawashi. When Yahawashi was in a terrestrial, in this flesh we in now, we're moving like he was. We're fishing, we're patient, we're humble, we're meek, we're just very slow to wrath, teaching the word, highways and hedges, trying to bring them and seal the elect, because we do all things for the elect's sake. But it's going to come to a point where the Lord Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is going to transform his men into soldiers and warriors, and then it's going to be something totally different. Then it ain't going to be about a spectacle. The prophets are being a spectacle in front of the people and being laughed at and mocked at, let alone maybe getting hit on. Ain't gonna be no cutting no heads off on those mighty men. It's not gonna happen. We know a lot of some of the brothers got to be martyrs for this truth for the name of Yahawah Bahasham namesake. But as far as other brothers, man, getting spiritual power to be able to defend and survive in these horrible times, they're going to be blessed with some situations where they're going to be very, very well off in the worst time the history of mankind is going to see. Because right here in Jeremiah, 16:16 is a perfect situation. It says Jeremiah 16:16, behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord. That's what we're doing now. We're fishers of men right now. We're fishers of the elect, and we're preaching to the masses to seal the elect. Those who have an ear, let them hear. You see what I'm saying? So we're just we ain't trying to fight nobody. We're not trying to be in the way. We just trying to preach the word, seal the elect, until Yahawashi promotes the prophecy, Amos 8:11, when the famine of the word come, which is also known as when the breaches are closed and there's no more repenting, and no more teaching the word, and the grace period will be over. So we're inside the grace period now, temporarily. So now we're still under the job description or the job title as a fisher. We're teaching his word, but It's coming to a point very, very closely where the Lord's going to pull his men off the streets. They're not going to be teaching no more. And then Esau's going to come in like a flood. I'm going to say when the dollar crash. When the dollar crash, that's when Jacob's trouble more or less, more than likely will happen or start. That's me as a man. It just makes so much sense. If it's something else, hey, may the Lord make the chips fall where they fall. But we'll figure it out when that comes. And it says, and after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain, every hill, and out of the holes of the rocks. Now we know that Esau and all these billionaire, trillionaires, and these banking family elite people, Edomites, even some Africans, probably some Arabs, all of those predominantly starting with Esau, the so-called white man or whatever, they are going to survive the nuclear holocaust. When all those missiles get sent over to Babylon and also in Israel and certain parts of the world in general, Esau and trillionaires and billionaires are going to survive in what you call bunkers. That's why it's talking about and hunt them in every mountain and every hill and out of the holes of the rocks, because they're 500 to 1,000 feet underground. When the elect get those spiritual powers, let alone those spiritual bodies with the powers even more crazy, we're going to be able to go and hunt them. It don't matter how deep they are down there. We're going to be able to go get them asses. And we're going to chain them up and put them into slavery. But beforehand, there's going to be great tribulation. It's going to be great famines. It's going to be great destruction with the sword. There's going to be people breaking into homes, trying to eat food, ravishing wives, like second address talks about. And in these times, when it gets so bad like that, the Lord going to have his men protected, and they're going to have spiritual power. Remember in Matthew, when Yahawashi had made his disciples apostles, when he sent them off, what did he give them? He gave them all spiritual power to continue the ministry. Yahawashi had the power, and he shared it with his brothers to do the same miracles out where they were, like Yahawashi was doing, right? So in this case scenario, you got to remember, there's a time where Yahawashi said, if this was my kingdom, my servants will fight, right? So that's coming. There's going to be a point in time where as soon as it get real, like my other brother, man, Shalom brother, not really around too much anymore, but he will always say, in order to survive such times, we're going to need divine intervention. And that's the very, very much truth, because the Lord's going to have to give us spiritual power in order to protect ourselves, our families, and also whenever Esau coming like a flood, man, it's going to be 30 Edomites, maybe 40 Edomites in the troop in order to come across a brother and going to want to do very much harm, like it says in 2 Ezra 16, where it says that they're going to have an insurrection and going to be like madmen sparing none. Esau is going to show his horns and going to want to do the worst things to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Seminole Indians. It's going to be like the Purge again, or what you would call like Black Summer environments or the Walking Dead environments. It's going to be every man for himself. You're not going to be able to trust a human at all. It's going to be a terrible, terrible time. And so we're going to need spiritual power in order to survive this thing, let alone with Esau coming on part of the elect. The Lord not going to let the elect get touched like that. You see what I'm saying? Let me go to Isaiah, what was this, 41? Isaiah 41, I'm going to start at 13. It says, I'm going to start at 12. Thou shalt seek them, and thou shalt not find them. You see that? Remember that new standard, meaning that hide and disappear as well. It could be multiple ways how that standard can kick in for brothers. And it says, and not find them, even them that contended with thee, they that war against thee shall be as nothing, right? And as a thing of naught. They're not going to be able to handle the elect, bro. I'm telling you, brothers, listen. And this is one of this is one of the topics of the scriptures where your faith really need to be kicked in, because this right here is your weapon. Your weapon is Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. It's him the Heavenly Father and the Son themselves, man. They are your weapons. So having faith that you're going to get it endowed with spiritual power, or having a faith that it exists to be along with a brother with it for protection or something. This is one of the scriptures that brothers should really be honing on when it comes to faith in these bad times. Like, this is what I'm praying for. Like, when those bad times come, Lord willing, I'm able to have spiritual power to defend myself. And I'm gonna protect brothers, Lord willing. And I'm also going to defend myself and my family as well with those powers. And your confidence gonna go through the roof, because ain't nothing gonna be able to stop you. Ain't nothing gonna be able to stop you. Your confidence is gonna be like the reverse Esau. Remember in some of my other videos, I go into how when Esau is 50-0, they pride and ego in their head gets big as if they're indestructible. Like a typical athlete does that. The more you win, the more you start believing that can't nobody touch you. That's what Esau's in right now. They're in that mindset. So they're going to come at you like that, but also you're going to be in reverse in the spirit, where you know you're going to have spiritual power from on high, and your confidence is going to go on a 50-0 type of perspective, but see, in this case scenario, you're for sure not going to be able to get touched. You're going to be indestructible. Right? It says 13, for I the Lord, for I the Lord thy power will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, fear not, I will help thee. Right? Fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel. I will help thee, saith Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Right? Behold, I will make thee a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth. Thou shalt thresh the mountains and beat them small, and shalt make the hills as chaff. And thou shalt fan them, and the wind shall carry them away, and the wind shall scatter them. And thou shalt rejoice in the Lord, and shalt glory in the Holy One of Israel. Hey, yo, brothers are going to be some bad motherfuckers, man. When the Lord endowed his spiritual power on brothers, these brothers' powers are going to be something crazy. Remember, I'm going to say this again. When Yahawashi was on the scene, he was a humble, meek situation. He wasn't meant to fight nobody or nothing like that. He was there to bid to the marriage, bring the elect, and be the Messiah to sacrifice his body for the repentance of sins of Israel, and to bring us back to the fold to Yahawah. You see what I'm saying? So that way, second covenant can come in. Yahawashi will return. He deliver his elect and get those spiritual bodies, and then we smooth sailing in the kingdom. But on this side, though, the Lord gonna make his men new sharp threshing instruments having teeth. These brothers are going to be crazy. And remember, now why I brought up Yahawashi, because even Yahawashi himself says it in John 14. What does he say? More proof of the brothers in the future. It says, John 14:12. It says, I started at 11. It says, believe me that I am in the Father, and the Father in me, or else believe me for the very work's sake, right? Because you at least seen it, so believe because you've seen it. But 12, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall you do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. Now, we know Yahawashi is now sitting on the right-hand side of Father, governing the events that's coming up in chronological order as prophecy unfolds as it goes, right? It's going to be a point in time where the Lord is going to allow spiritual power onto the brothers, and the type of things they're going to be able to do is going to be similar to David and even better. Brothers are going to be flying. Brothers are going to be indestructible. Brothers are going to be able to teleport. Brothers are going to be able to shoot laser beams, manipulate elements, and that's on this side. Esau is not going to have no type of smoke when it comes to elect. You see what I'm saying? And you brothers take a look at that. There's a one little not documentary, but like an article or a reading, or it's a video on YouTube where it called The Black Jesus. Through the Spirit, I'm gonna say as a man through the Spirit, I believe that was an Israelite. Obviously, it was. And also, one of the key things he said after all the things he was able to do, they tried to kill him like 5-6 times, and they killed him in all the worst ways, and he just reconstructed his body. He just recreated himself like how kind of like T1000 would do when they would split his body up, blow him up or whatever, and his body would just reconstruct and turn back into normal. But one of the key things he said at the very latter end of it is he came back after they thought they defeated him, and they showed up in these particular Edomites' high top classified office. He said, I'm going to leave now because you really, really don't want me to be here. But I'm going to tell you what, in the future, it's going to be more like me coming. And when they do, you're not going to be able to do anything to stop them. Through the Spirit, that's exactly what's going on in the scriptures. These mighty men are going to come through, and the Lord going to endow them in power in the worst time in human mankind, and they're going to be able to get busy fighting shit off, killing stuff, in righteousness, and going to be able to defend themselves, man. And remember, Yahawashi did amazing works, but he didn't do anything on the attack mode, right? So in this point in time, the Lord's going to give spiritual power to his brothers, but then they're gonna be hunters in this position. So they're gonna be fighters and defending themselves and going on the offense this time. They're not fishers on defense and preserving themselves. They're gonna go on attack on the offense. And so when you get power for the offense, now we're talking about David and his mighty men and also Samson type style, right? Because right here, and one is in Leviticus 23. I think it's Leviticus 23. I know it's Leviticus. It gotta be Leviticus. Oh no, Leviticus 23. No, not that. It's Joshua, and it's Deuteronomy 23. Okay, I know it's Joshua, and I'm gonna go to the one in Joshua then. I had these one in the bag. Let me see. 1 minute. Okay, so for the sake of I know it was Joshua, and it was probably Numbers. Let me try Numbers one time. Numbers 23 one time. Nah. Salakia brothers. This should have been straight up with me. Yeah, Numbers 23. Nah, it's Joshua and something else. Okay, I'll find it. But let me go to Joshua 20. Joshua 20. All right, Joshua 23, starting at 9. For the Lord have driven out from before you great nations and a strong. But as for you, no man have been able to stand before you unto this day. And this is coming back in a big way. And it says, 1 man of you shall chase 1,000. For the Lord, Yahawashi Yahawashi, your power, he is that fighter for you, as he have promised you. You see that? And the other one, man, I know I'm not tripping. I know it's I thought it was Leviticus. Oh, Leviticus 26. Leviticus 26. Would that be it? Is that it right there? There you go. Leviticus 26, starting at 7. And ye shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. And 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight, and your enemy shall fall before you by the sword. You see that? See that right there, brothers? That's coming back in a big way. You know, a lot of precepts go hand in hand, and we're going to be able to do some crazy stuff in the near future, man. Lord willing to be a part of that number. And I know you brothers had seen that new video of Jake actually defending the one Jake and was beating up on them Edomites. That's an omen right there, man. That's a little indication of what's going on, how things are being stirred up. because we can go to the book of Ezekiel, and this is going to happen, man. Look, Ezekiel 25 and 14. It says, 13. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, Yahawah, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, right? Edom is the so-called white man, and I will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. You see? And we just seen a little snippet of that. This going to come back in a big way. And they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, save the Lord, Yahawashi Yahawashi. You see that? You see how Jake was whooping on Esau something crazy, and the Lord just said he gonna use the Israelites to get back on Esau the same way, but obviously worse. Because when brothers get that spiritual power and be able to utilize it in the way they need, it's gonna be a bad situation. It's gonna be a real bad situation, right? Because right here, matter of fact, let's land back off Ezekiel 25:14 with Jeremiah 51. Starting at I started like I say 19 or 20. It says it's 19. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. Yahawashi of hosts is his name. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. The Lord is going to use us men. Lord will like to be a part of that number. Turn us into a new threshing instrument having teeth, and going to be on some ferocious, serious warrior-like situations, man. Yo, brothers are going to be on some wild shit as warriors. They're going to be soldiers for the Lord. The Lord called us battle axes and weapons of war. You hear it? You see that? And it says, and with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young, and with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. Yo, you see that? The Lord is going to use his men to destroy and fuck shit up. Brothers are going to be it's going to be the spirit of the Lord on brothers, and brothers is going to just be going to and fro, getting busy, right? And it says, and I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock, and with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen, and with thee will I break in pieces the captains and the rulers, the senates, governments, tanks, rulership, whatever. Ain't gonna be nothing gonna be able to stop us, man. No governments, no armies, no none of that. Troops, whatever you want to put it down to it, the Lord gonna have his men set up really, really nice. And I'm gonna get two more precepts. Luke 10 and 19. Luke 10 and 19. It says, behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions. That's governments and armies and etc. And over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. Yo, brothers are going to be indestructible, man. They're going to be madmen, sparing none in reverse, though. See, Esau going to come in like a flood, but when the Lord lift that standard up and give brothers spiritual power, the brothers going to retaliate. It's going to be game over. It's going to be game over. It's not going to be good at all. It's kind of like that one scene on Hawk 2008. No, 2003 Hawk, when the bull came in his crib and he manhandled him on the ground and he was bullying him, and he grabbed him by his neck and he was like, yo, you making me angry. He said, yeah, I know I am. And then he turned into Hawk and the bull had nothing for it. He didn't see that one coming. See, Esau is not seeing the men of the Lord coming with them powers and be able to do what they're going to be able to do, because Esau going to come with that great flood and that great pride, and then they're going to get a rude awakening on the reverse when the power get endowed on the brothers. That's my last precept right here. This is Jeremiah 12 and 8. It says, Zechariah 12 and 8. It says, in that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David. And the house of David shall be as God, as the angel of the Lord before them. Yo, brothers is going to be on angel-like levels, getting busy, man. They're going to be like David and his mighty men, man. Yo, when that standard get lifted up, brothers, we're going to be good. Lord willing, be a part of that number, man. Listen, bro. Hey, brothers, I pray for spiritual power. Who doesn't want spiritual power? This is part of our ministry. This is part of being an Israelite, is being able to have powers, man. We gods on the earth. You see what I'm saying? On a low level, but when the Lord turn up that dial and give us the power, because we got the power right now through the Spirit. You know, we got the breakdowns in the scriptures. We got faith with brothers. Brothers are already coming together. We on one accord at camps. You know, we got power right now to just be able to understand the scriptures. Let alone when the Lord gives us the physical ones, it's not going to be fun and games at that point. It's going to be real bad out here. And Lord willing, I could be a part of that number. And you sincere brothers to be able to defend yourself in this near time. And now people who never seen these videos, watch these videos. These videos are for you brothers, man. It's for the elect. It's for comfort. Because when you say this to an average person, this shit sound like fiction and fables. But they are sadly mistaken. I brought this out as Lord willing. This is edifying to you brothers. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, qadash. Yahawah, he is to be, exists, Bahasham in the name, and the only begotten Son of Lord and Savior. Yahawashi, Bahasham in the name, and Holy Spirit, qadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, Lord and truth from JMS. Blessings to the acumen there, preach his word, with heart to sincerity. Blessed to 144,000, 1/3 entirely. The first fruits kingdom of heaven, house of David, the Biyaf, that would die. And shalom to you brothers out there speaking different tongues, looking different nations. Shalom, brothers.